What's up? You are moonwalking with Dawn Daze in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up? We're here.
We moonwalking, y'all.
Yeah, you clearly, definitely love your little introduction, I see.
Yes, it's necessary to do, shout out to basketball. Shout out to the Hawks here in Atlanta. Again, we're live from 101 TKO Radio, a station based out here in Atlanta. Yesterday, Days had the pleasure of being able to watch the Hawks continue their winning streak, which was really dope, live in effect. And I know not this game, but the last game against the Celtics, they had like a groundbreaking major comeback, scoring 30 points in like the second half. So big shout out to the Atlanta Hawks and all that they got going on over there. It's cool to be able to say that we're part of the home team now, based here in Atlanta. That was a dope vibe. Speaking of being here in Atlanta, we got to see Stevenson High School and their Rhythm in Blue event that was on Saturday. Beautiful production. They had some legendary people in the room, including our very own CEO, who was the MC of the night. The young scholars and just musicians were incredible. They really did not come to play. Well, they came to play with their instruments, but they did not come to play with you. You know what I'm saying? They are definitely really, really talented, and it was really inspiring for us as well as musicians to see them in the mix, and just, realize that the more you invest and the sooner you invest, the more likely you are to have successful students, successful statistics, successful music, and it goes such a long way. So big shout out to Stevenson High School, big shout out to our CEO, Chelsea Speaks, and anybody that was able to be in the building and witness that. Looking forward to more events that they put on. It's really, really dope. I know that Stevenson High School, their band is getting ready to travel, so that was a big fundraiser for them too. So happy to be there. I know we were in the mix too, doing our own live show while we were there, interviewing some of the people. It was all really good things, really good things.
What were some of the standout interviews for you and performances and the songs that were performed?
Yes, I really loved that they did a mashup of, what was it? They had Erykah Badu's song Next Lifetime, okay, Victoria Monet's song On My Mama, and Tyla's song Water. The three of them, have similar BPMs, and all three of those women also have Grammys. So it was a women's history debut kind of moment, dedication, and really appreciated that. They did a great job. Also, they had a moment where, a baby grand organ rolls up. It was beautiful, all colorful too. It rose up out of the ground, out of the stage, and the legendary Ken Double came and played on the keys there before the students came out. So I would say that was another standout, and a few people sang as well, one of them being a student, thanks, and the rest of them being teachers. So that was cool. What about you, Dave? What were some standouts for you?
When they had that moment honoring James Brown.
Yeah.
And everybody brought that James energy, shouting a little bit.
Yeah, we're singing along, baby, baby, baby.
Word. So that was a vibe. Again, the creativity, the melanated excellence was incredible to see. Stevenson High School certainly has a great legacy.
Yeah.
And I was able to learn a little bit about it just by speaking to a number of different folks. Mm-hmm. But there was a grandfather in the building. The father of the conductor was actually the grandfather I'm referring to. And the conductor's son was in the audience, saw him super energized at one point, but
yeah,
looked like he got a little bit too hyped.
I think he's also the director, not just the conductor of it, but I think he's like the director of the band program as well. So that was pretty cool to see, that whole legacy.
Essentially, it's a very real thing, being able to have that foundation in your community. And a lot of these high schools are where talent gets discovered, where talent gets cultivated. So shout out to my high school, Eleanor Roosevelt High School. Definitely similar vibes going into Stevenson. It's great to see it. Great to see it again, just in this Atlanta region, and I understand Chelsea more for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
just
the legacy.
those roots for sure.
Lloyd, Lil Scrappy, also went to Stevenson High School, and it shows. They definitely invest in like the talent and the music there.
Word. Yeah, music, man, music. It's what is the foundation of radio. There's many forms of entertainment that we've grown to embrace in 2024. But again, just understanding how music connects to this radio world, how music is a pulse for a lot of things, and how we channel a lot of things into our music.
Yeah.
Certainly one of those things that if you develop that connection with music at an earlier age, it can serve you throughout your lifetime. The ways of therapy, the ways of just developing your learning style, your memory, communication, your ways with words. So let's certainly continue to prioritize music in all that we do to channel things. And I know it's definitely a healing component with us.
For sure.
Because, even when it just comes down to, again, being in this partnership and how you deal with another whole human being and just navigating things, just like creativity is important.
Yeah.
You have to wake up and make a choice on a daily basis to not only choose yourself. Again, mental health is very, very important. We're going to continue to emphasize that because sometimes we wake up and folks decide they don't want to be in their body anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's a gift to even be able to wake up, being able to remember that.
Precisely. So on that note, again, just speaking on mental health and whether it can translate to how you want to appear physically, how you potentially people please, or feel like you need to fit into whoever's mold. There's that angle. There's additionally a unfortunate pattern and illness that comes with folks wanting to delete themselves.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think the music that we listen to, the ways that we embrace music, again, all these young people playing these instruments was certainly an incredible sight to see, dressed very nicely, suited and booted, no questions. It's important.
Yeah.
It's important. And to be very responsible with how you coming to this industry and how you cultivate that talent is also very important. So shout out to all of those continuing to cultivate their creativity. Rhythm and Blue, you got a great thing going on.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Trap Jazz Band as well. Chelsea Speaks did her thing, hosting the entire evening and just the entire program. Shout out to the Stevenson Sonics.
Yes. Speaking of music, we're getting ready to take a road trip to upstate New York, Rochester, where I'm from and where I'm born, and both of our dads grew up, so it's a beautiful thing to be able to visit the city.
It's the rock.
And not only are we just going to visit family, but we're also going for the festival. If you don't know, we are part of the beautiful family unit that puts on the Rochester Summer Soul Music Festival in Rochester, New York. And next week we have our major press conference with the mayor and a solar eclipse kickoff party. So if you happen to be listening and you happen to be in that region, definitely make sure you join us. We'll be performing live on April 6th at Urban Euphoria in Rochester, New York. And on April 5th, we'll be partnering with the mayor for our press conference. So we're going to take that road trip. What's that like? What's that drive?
Yeah, it's our first time doing the drive. Shout out to Unc coming from Florida. He's driving. Probably going to do majority of the drive because that's just how he's cut.
Yeah.
But I'm here to support, however. But I think it's like 15, 16 hours from here.
It'll be a good adventure.
Yeah. Real smooth.
Yeah. And big shout out to Aries Season. Big shout out to my Faja. His birthday's tomorrow, also on Beyonce's drop day. So shout out to my dad. Shout out to my dog, my literal dog, Cody Bear. His 18th heavenly birthday was yesterday, or 2 days ago now. So shout out to him. And shout out to Cuzzo, Amani Elijah, Reverend Newsy. His birthday was 3 days ago. So all of our Aries Kings, we salute you And big shout out to y'all again. Happy birthday.
Legendary. All legends. All legends.
All in 1 week. I love it so much.
If you don't know, you're going to find out for certain. For certain. Yeah, it's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing just to be in this season. Spring is clearly sprung.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way the drill up and down the court. Da, da. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. I did see, again, I just happened to hit Auntie. Again, shout out to Aunt Nay, hooking me up with the, seat to the Hawks game. She's a season ticket holder. Shout out to her being a basketball savant. We love that. We love
Yes.
that. I'm from Basketball County, so y'all know the roots is deep. Shout out to PG County, Maryland, Prince George's, Kevin Durant. Salute. List goes on. Quinn Cook was good money. Again, just shout out to all of the foundations that are evident. And the Hawks doing their thing. Definitely shout out to Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. A lot of greatness all across the board. Hawks been doing their thing. And we in a season right now where, hey, we outside, man. Spring, again, has sprung.
Oh, yeah.
So when we talking about the big three right now, it's
Big three.
It's
The basketball big three?
Am I? Come on now. You don't even have to. You don't have to do all that. Fact of the matter is, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody clearly, we love Ice Cube.
Yes, we do.
But I don't know. I mean, do you not know what's going on?
I don't know, just in case the people don't know.
I mean, go ahead.
Did
tell
y'all
me.
hear? Did y'all hear what happened?
I mean, go ahead. Act naive if you want to, Michaela. Act
don't trust you.
Like
We
this
don't trust
isn't
you.
like hip hop isn't the biggest global genre in the world. I mean, I don't know what people. Who are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just making sure this it's clearly stated.
I'm just saying. Go ahead and speak on it, then, ma'am.
All right, so we got Drake. That's one. Then we got J. Cole. That's two. And then we got Kendrick Lamar. That's three. People have been also saying Big Sean possibly could be in the mix. We're going to talk about that more later. But, yeah.
Again,
We already know what's going on.
it's just Big Me again. Act brand new if you want to. It's March Madness season as well, so the competitive fire is real. This is not. It's not time for jokes. This is very serious.
It's very
This
serious.
is extremely serious right now.
It
Like,
is.
this is the state of the culture.
Is it a state of emergency?
Michaela, do not play games with me. You're playing games with me, and I don't like it. You
Okay.
know how foundational this is to the culture.
Yeah.
You know how engulfed I've been in this space since it happened.
Yes.
This is not the time for jokes. So
Okay.
we're going to go ahead and transition. Because you playing with me, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. At all.
We're going to talk about
This is a
more.
big deal. There's a lot going on in the world, man. It's a lot going on in the world. But Moonwalking with Dawn Daze, 101 TKO Radio. We back.
Another one.
Welcome back. You are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio. So, now that we're here and back together, we're going to talk a little bit about the planet of love, all things that are in this love ecosystem, whether we're talking about love with your significant other, love with yourself, love with your family, love with all your people that you call your close ones. And I think right now, which is a pretty big topic because of the eclipse season and the recent full moon and the new moon coming up and springtime, astrological new year, etc., we're feeling it in the air, spiritual warfare. How do you keep yourself, your soul intact, keep yourself grounded? And there's a lot of different ways that I think people could talk about what those spiritual challenges are that might come up when you're trying to navigate a day, trying to be the best version of yourself. So, Daze, how would you define spiritual warfare?
We did this exercise before, actually, on our NASA Family YouTube. And I spoke specifically to the technological aspects of it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the major ways that it appears. But rewinding back a bit to speak on the concept itself, I think spiritual warfare is navigating all the forces in our universe for your spiritual welfare, the light, the darkness. So, one more time. Spiritual warfare is the process of accounting for all of the forces in our universe so that you can achieve your spiritual welfare.
Snaps.
So, light, darkness, the duality of that,
Yeah.
good, bad, righteousness, evil, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Finding truth. And there are different perspectives because one person's bad could be another person's good. Clearly, we see that there are a variety of spiritual perspectives. I have not necessarily had a deep dive conversation with any Satanists. Fact of the matter is there are whole Satanist clubs in high schools now.
Yeah.
So for whatever regard, and even knowing the entertainment industry, if you will, the lifestyles, the things that people normalize, if there is a world for it and people normalize it, then it's hard to deny that it exists, and that, again, things that are in existence, I believe, should have some level of respect, whether it's a respect that is holistic or a respect that translates to someone gaining your trust.
Yeah.
Again, this notion, all of humanity has the right to pursue the life that they want, in that same regard, at what cost. There are consequences for our actions.
Everything has the cause
So,
and effect.
With all these different POVs against spiritual warfare, it does certainly translate to the warfare on the planet. And the path that I've taken, again, because I'm grateful to have prioritized education in many, many chapters of my life. In that same regard, I just trust information to present itself to me in divine order. I certainly do my best to seek it out. You know, shout out to certain algorithms that might, you know, bring certain information to our to the forefront of our mind. I'm just gonna be honest though. The same way that I used to engage with the news and feel like I needed to know everything that's going on in the world at all points in time, my perspective definitely changed with 2020.
Yeah.
And just trusting that, again, there is always going to be a level of crisis or emergency in someone's life. So it's just really being able to bring that focus back to yourself. And again, the biggest aspect of spiritual warfare is navigating the inner me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
those things. Again, not the enemy, the inner me.
Yep. That's
Perspective.
that's definitely what I would define spiritual warfare as for me when I think about it. Going back to how we answered it on our YouTube channel. Hey, shout out to Daze Lauren in the building too. Love you too.
Salute,
Queen.
salute, salute.
Shout out to everybody that's
Love,
tuning in
Queen.
live. We appreciate y'all very, very much. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whether you're on the 101 TKO Radio app or website, we appreciate you. We see you. We honor you for being part of us as we moonwalk. But yeah, spiritual warfare for me was definitely the inner me, how I might sabotage myself or overthink things, allow others to make me overthink or allow others to take advantage when I'm not putting up those necessary guardrails for myself, you know? And I think that that affects just daily life in some of the most smallest ways that I don't even realize, right? It can be very unconscious, and that's why it feels like warfare sometimes. You have to be so aware, you have to be so on top of things to make sure that you're keeping your energy stable. And for me, because I'm a sensitive being, sometimes that overthinking or that projection of others hits me a little bit harder than I expect it to sometimes. So having to do that extra work ahead of time to build up the necessary boundaries or the necessary, safeguards so that I can feel safe and protect. So I definitely encourage everybody that's listening to take the time to define what spiritual warfare means for you and what you're doing to take things to that next level. When we think about how we are protecting ourselves, we have to be honest about what we're feeling, honest about how the world is impacting us. And that can sometimes be hard. I can't speak for everybody, but that can be hard for me sometimes, to be honest. And on top of that, honesty without seeking to hurt another person or without, worrying about hurting another person. Kind of go one and the same sometimes, of reminding yourself how important it is to be honest with yourself and then being honest with those you love, being honest with those around you. So Daze, what do you feel when it comes to that kind of conversation about honesty without hurt?
I mean, it takes it back to even the big three conversation, right? Mm-hmm. Fact of the matter is, people lie. Numbers can lie. But the evidence is the evidence. The evidence ultimately becomes clear. And the evidence states that we all don't make it out alive. So the 24 hours in our day, and that's, again, just honesty without hurt. No matter who you are, you have to be humbled by the great equalizer.
Yeah.
And that affects us all in different ways. And ideally, we are able to become our best selves. But honestly, again, everybody's best version looks differently. That's the honest truth, is you have to do the work and define it yourself.
Yeah.
So, again, just honestly, there's a time and a place for everything. And you have to navigate your timing and your placement. Mm-hmm. And there's a time and place to, from my personal perspective, to show up and quote unquote please people. There are other times where you don't need to worry about anybody but yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's navigating that fine line, because clearly you can't live completely on one end of the spectrum or the other end of the spectrum. Because who wants to be lonely for their life and never experience community? And on the other aspect, if you just give yourself to people so much, you will have nothing left for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's where we all have that individual responsibility to be truthful with ourselves. And that's the biggest thing that is unfortunate that I see in many journeys. And I'm grateful to consistently be on this journey that I'm on. But it's sobering to look back, hindsight being 2020. It's like, man, I really allowed myself to lie to myself for the sake of, quote unquote, keeping the peace, not rocking the boat.
Yeah.
Let me please whoever else.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, a lot of us grow up in an environment where we don't have a choice. Where when you come into school as a kindergartner, if the teacher say you got to do something, you got to do it. And that's where it gets sensitive with authority and coming into your adult's essence, quote unquote, coming into your power at whatever chapter in your life and learning to demand a respect and be honest with yourself. And that's why I'm just grateful, because lying to me just to please whoever else, again, especially you, especially my partner, it does not serve me at all. And being honest, marriage is not a big thing people is repping out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being honest, there are a lot of temptations out here.
Yeah.
So just acting like you're going to navigate planet love without navigating hate and being able to rise above it and transmute it.
Yep.
Then again, shout out to that album, Everything is Love. Everybody perceives art in their own way. From what I learned with the alchemy of the Carter's journey, going back to using music as a healing component,
Yeah.
you have to be honest in the music. You cannot hide parts of yourself. And yeah, that's where it gets sensitive with me, because I technically don't have the right to force you or anybody else to do anything, but I have control over how I show up and how I apply myself as a force. And it's no secret. Honesty without hurt. I've worn that, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't even want to say I've been put on that cross disrespectfully or use the figure of speech disrespectfully. But yeah, no, I'm not afraid to talk about what's real. I'm not afraid to bring out that dragon with my words. I don't want to use my words as a weapon, but I want to use my words as protection.
That's right.
And we could talk about other forms of protection too. Trust and believe. This is a holistic thing. But the fact of the matter is how we speak life over ourselves, how we speak to people, and do it respectfully. But sometimes that honesty, it might sting a little bit, even if you try to be as respectful as possible. If you're delivering some tough news, hey, sometimes it can't be all fluffy and flowers.
Yeah.
If you got to say, hey, yo, you are addicted to this, that, or the third, you need to stop. Saying certain things in a nice way, or if a kid's playing in the street and they need to get out the street, hey, yo, get out the street. Sometimes you need to say it with a little bit of force. Honestly, you almost, lost your life.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Do not play with fire.
Yeah.
You might burn this house down and hurt everyone. Yeah. So it's levels to it, and I'm just stepping into it accordingly. But I know we got music on the, what I'm saying, we're going to dive into that in the later segment. But, hey, honesty. Hey. Big three. Big me. Mm-hmm. Sheesh. Who got the spot, though?
Yeah. Shout out to you. You've taught me a lot about that honesty without hurt and just being true to the voice, being true to yourself. So I love it. That's why we doing it together. We kind of continue to moonwalk. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to everybody else that's joining on TikTok. We see y'all. And we're going to go to our music break. Shout out to Camila Cabello's new song. I love it. And we'll be back. Keep it locked. 101 TKO Radio.
Cheers. Prosperity. Yes. You are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Yeah.
Knocking them out the box. You know what I'm saying? Technical knockouts. Real life. Shout out to Aunt. You know what I'm saying? Moose, Bayana. Follow the MMA journey. You dig? Real life. Big things coming up here too. At Privy Stonecrest.
Yeah, 5th and the 7th next week.
Yes, indeed. Boxing will be celebrated here as well.
The Golden Gloves tournament.
Yes, indeed.
Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. You want to make sure you're in the building.
Salute.
Shout out to the TKO family in the mix. Jay's Desire. Her show live every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
Indeed. Dictational conversation. She actually just came in at a great point, actually, because when we talk about the journeys, right, of liberation, of sex, your first introduction to what that word even means, the energy of intimacy. And when we think about our journeys as children, again, it's how babies are made. In that same regard, how does a baby make a way for themselves on this planet?
Yeah.
How does that child properly get introduced to the right things at the right time, so that when they start their official love journey, dating, sex, or otherwise, they're making the best decisions possible, and it's coming from an empowered and educated space, enlightened space. I'll go ahead and share a little bit here briefly, because I know we have some other topics to discuss, and a lot of these conversations are going to be ongoing.
Oh, yeah, especially when we're talking about kids and, content, celebrity, limelight. We haven't even had kids yet, and we're already feeling this just because of the kids in our own village that we're seeing around us.
It's humbling.
Our inner children.
It's humbling. It's a big blessing.
Yeah.
And that's where your integrity is so important, and understanding, again, just for me, because I am gifted, I am blessed to have two amazing parents that are amazing individuals beyond what their life experience might have thrown at them at different chapters. We rise above all stereotypes. We rise above all boxes and labels. So every human on this planet, if you've taken the L, make sure you turn it into a lesson. And we're going to be poetic with the word itself of divorce, because I know when it comes down to sexual righteousness, sexual education, sexual responsibility, when homes are broken, it can be more difficult to have the proper ecosystem to cultivate these young people.
Yeah.
So we have to navigate solutions, because we don't want to make excuses. It's not as if it's impossible, whether you come from a single parent household or whether you are in a dynamic where you might not have any parents. You might be in a home, in a foster home. Clearly, we've seen many amazing people rise above different circumstances. So when we say it takes a village to have these responsible conversations.
That's right. And it takes time. I love what Jay's Desire said. She said, love it. It needs to be had, the sex conversation.
For sure.
That it's always about when, where, how. I think a lot of times we all can agree it needs to be had, for the most part, I hope, in this generation. But then we come down to the when and how, and I think we're still learning that in and of ourselves. But the moment that someone has access to technology, the ability to navigate the internet on their own, there's a responsibility there. Even us, we grew up with technology in certain ways, so, we couldn't just look at it on our flip phone. But it's not the same for kids these days. But we did have computers, and we were talking about that even yesterday. The home computer being your portal in a lot of ways in middle school and elementary school for us. And, that was when we started our exploration, before we really had the conversation with our parents. I think our parents know overall now what we were doing to some extent when we were kids, but there's still that conversation to be had, and I think all of us know that journey, right? I don't need to be explicit. I think we know what we're talking about. And it's a personal responsibility. It's a, societal responsibility, but most importantly, it's on each individual person to have that gauge, especially when it comes to raising yourself. And even now, we still have to work with our inner child to heal certain things that maybe we saw or did prematurely, or experiences that we weren't all the way prepared for. And then how we heal that so that we're able to actually be in a healthy relationship moving forward. So the conversation will, without a doubt, be, ongoing, and we'll continue to talk about it too. Yes. Yep, your situation does not dictate you or define your life success. That is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's incredible. It's incredible to know that we can rise above. It's so empowering. It's so empowering.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay's Desire. Shout out to our whole village and the lessons we're learning in real time. It is such a beautiful thing. So beautiful. So thank you all for your energy. And I think this is the perfect time to transition to walking on business. Walking on business.
Walking on business.
Now, if you don't know,
Business.
our main endeavor that we work on is a family business. We work with our parents. We work in particularly with Amir's father. We have our own marketing agency as well. So we're constantly operating in this family business dynamic, working with people that are older than us, that are sometimes authority figures, but realizing that we're all equally yoked and we're all meant to be respected is an ongoing journey, is an ongoing conversation. So I'm going to pass it off to Daze because I know that he's got some bars that I'm sure he can drop about this walking on business conversation too.
Walking on business for real.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. In real time.
Yeah.
Because I have had this divine opportunity to work on a festival that started the same year I was born. Again, this goes deep. In real time, I will bring y'all into this world because my grandfather, a Rochester legend, a Vietnam veteran, a firefighter, at 46 years of age, again, built community, started 3 different newspapers in Rochester, really standing on business. The Most High called him home in 1995 on my biological mother's birthday. Knowing that legacy that he and I share, knowing that this is all divine and we can rise above all false evidence appearing real, and knowing that you need to stand on business and you need to respectfully ensure that people don't cross your boundaries.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important, and you have to dig deep to whatever core you have to do that. And that's one of the things when I transitioned into corporate, because I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. Sometimes I got authority figures in my life a little bit confused with the almighty authority figure. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you get caught up again in that people-pleasing dynamic, when it comes down to teachers, when it comes down to coaches. I'm a dynamic individual, so it's not like I was completely a teacher's pet or completely a little, ragamuffin. A little nuisance. I had my balance, and ultimately I knew that my reputation was important, so I wanted to keep things more or less pristine and clean.
Yeah.
But overall, sometimes folks test you. Folks will test you, and they will test you specifically where they know they can control you. So if they feel like they can control your pockets, they can control your emotions, they can control your quality of life,
Yep.
It gets dangerous, folks. And that's what this festival has been such a beautiful symbol of, because both of us, we took that leap of faith.
Yep.
And much love to all of those making it happen. I'm not saying that there's one approach as far as navigating entrepreneurship.
This was just the approach that we thought was best for us, that
Absolutely.
God spoke to us for.
Again, endeavors that have the proper foundation. In the endeavors, do I have the control to say yes or no?
Yeah.
How many dynamics am I involved in where people can potentially test me, or either test my patience, or try to pull a card where, hey, you don't got a choice, young boy.
Try and trap you.
What do you mean? I always have a choice. Always and forever.
Yeah.
So being able to face that with my own father and learn about, shout out to Generation X, you know what I'm saying, these older men, these fathers, I know y'all are going through a lot right now, so my heart goes out to y'all.
Yeah.
Again, in that category is Sean Combs, is Diddy. My father was at Howard the same generation as Diddy. This goes deep. You know what I'm saying? My father has a genuine brotherhood with Al B. Shore. Al B. Shore has confided in my father. This is real life.
Yeah.
I worked at Bad Boy, Combs Enterprises, and never met Diddy. He was supposed to be at our intern presentation. I interned there when I was 20 years old in 2015. And we never crossed paths.
That's God's
So,
protection.
My insight is divine and almighty. But all of his executives, again, majority of them went to Harvard Business School. Shout out to Derek Ferguson, a very, very honorable brother. Everybody that I've spoken to has only said highly, like, just amazing things. Again, I met him through my university. He was a keynote speaker at the university. He saw me do my thing and brought me in for an internship. And I actually took initiative to say, hey, I'm the best out here doing it. I'm trying to come learn something
Yeah.
on my journey, because I'm going to be a mogul regardless. You're going to make it happen regardless. You're going to make it happen regardless. And that's what this festival has been about. So, Rock Summer Soul, we're celebrating the soul of the city of Rochester. We're celebrating the soul of music all across the board. And if you don't know, please do your research. Rochester has produced the amazing talents of Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Genuine, Jodeci. The list goes on, yo.
Yep.
Like, it's been my favorite genre of music since foreverdom. Like, 90s R&B is what made us.
That's right.
You know, both of our parents, you know what I'm saying, definitely were on that vibe. All black royalty that has certainly had their own journeys.
Shout out to Auntie Nisi Lou, just entered the building. She
Oh, yes,
performed
Lord.
with us live in 2022.
Oh, yes,
at
Lord.
The festival. Shout out.
Salute. Hey, what's good? What's good? Oh,
Yes.
Nisi Lou got the vocals, man. She was singing that
She
Erykah
sang
Badu rendition, On and On.
And
Her
our
own
original song.
her original bars. Oh,
Hey,
man.
hey.
Lit. Hey, Nisi Lou in the building. Voice of an angel, no cap.
Truly. Shout out to you, Auntie.
Legendary.
I appreciate you so much. Yeah. We're walking on business, y'all. That's what this is all about.
Every day.
Thank you for everybody that's here live listening, whether you're on the 101 TKO Radio app, whether you're on the 101 TKO Radio website, you're on my TikTok, you're on our Instagram, you're on our YouTube. We appreciate you. We see you. We feel you. We honor you. Thanks for moonwalking with us. It really means a lot. And make sure that you've got your calendar marked for August 24th this year for the Rochester Summer Soul Music Festival. And next week, make sure you're locked in with the NASA family, as we'll be sharing all the behind the scenes for the press conference and our major kickoff party happening on April 6th in honor of the solar eclipse. So we appreciate you. We honor y'all. And let's get into some music vibes, and we'll be back. Keep it locked. 101 TKO Radio.
Love you, Auntie.
Ain't this what you came to see?
on 101 TKO Radio. Here's the finding your voice. Here's the having a choice. In our last segment, before we were enjoying some of those classic vibrations right there. Again, special shout out to the DMV, always and forever.
Yes.
Gold Link, Shy Glizzy, Brent Fires. They linked up for that crew track. That's one of them ones right there. Grammy nominated. Was it Grammy Award winning? It's Grammy associated nonetheless. Nonetheless.
And shout out to Color Me Bad.
Again, that's a little vibe.
Throwback.
A little vibe for sure. All these things, again, the honesty of it, the accolades.
Yeah.
Who's really that? Who's really cut like that? Who's really the one? A great conversation to have. But I have to, again, have this honest conversation about the almighty perspective that I have to keep consistent.
Yeah.
In 2020, Kobe, Gigi, all those lives that were tragically lost. With Kobe dedicating 20 years to the Lakers. That Mamba mentality. Again, it's the Mamba year. At that chapter, again, him being 41, knowing that a lot of his perspective was evolving to primarily prioritizing family. He appreciated all the accolades, but if there was anything he said he wished he could have done or that he wanted to do, it was spend more time with family.
That's powerful.
So much love to Gigi, much love to all those young people, all those children, much love to all the parents, the pilot. So many levels to this, man. And, you know, the honest truth is, as well, when it comes down to a lot of quote-unquote thoughts, conspiracy theories, speculations, the honest truth is, if you were not there, you cannot speak on it with 1,000% validity. And even if you were there, you can alter certain aspects of the truth.
Yeah.
So that said, before we get into this conversation about the Big Three and Big Sean, shout out to Wale. Shout out to Logic as well. He was definitely another big inspiration early on. A lot of those artists from that era, 2010s, late 2000s, major inspirations for your boy, for sure. And now K-Dot, he outside. He said, it's Big Me. Sean popped out the same day. We know the history here. All my true hip-hop heads, if you don't know this narrative, please just go ahead and do your YouTubes. Just go ahead and put in any one of those names and talk about and put beef besides it. We know that there's levels to beef. And quite frankly, this is a little impossible whopper. Everybody knows that this is not going to be an East Coast, West Coast thing. And I'm speaking life over that because, again, it's not like I know everything. But everybody knows that we're in a space that all these guys are great guys, but none of them are really out here in these streets moving with that kind of malice where they're really trying to.
They're all dads.
Exactly. They're all fathers. So we know that this is music. But that's where it gets dangerous because Kendrick does come from a real background of trauma, of PTSD. So when he says that on the track, it's not just art. So that's that fine line of all of these things. Of being honest about how we allow ourselves to get engulfed in this music, folks. Nobody wins when the family feuds. And when I say the family, I mean our hip-hop community.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a, again, sportsman-like spar or competition, the championship. But clearly nobody won with Biggie and Pac. And with Biggie connecting right back to Diddy. It's some real stuff, man. Some real stuff.
Yeah,
Again.
real cautionary tales. We have to be mindful.
Real deal.
And I know people were saying that this is what hip-hop needs. We need conflict. We need this because it inspires creativity. What do you think about that kind of conversation, Daze?
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
Till it doesn't.
Yeah, till it doesn't.
Till it doesn't. Till you can't create anymore. And, like, that's where, again, like, egos are fragile out here.
Yeah.
Egos are fragile. And the honest truth is there's blood incorporated into a lot of this. And that's why you have to be true to yourself. You have to know your journey. Last year at the festival, we were honoring a big cousin, my big cousin Chazo, one level above. He was very inspired by Nipsey Hussle, and I'm sure Nipsey Hussle would have been inspired by him. But big cousin at 35 years old, gone too soon. Life taken by a racist coward.
Straight up. No other way to say it.
Period. So these things strike deep when it comes down to creating. So just having to deal with that 2 weeks before the festival, you know what I'm saying? Having to do a whole funeral. We weren't even expecting that. We planning for a whole festival, but we got to do a funeral and so much other healing, commotions, and dynamics. So that's where it's just like we got to have these real conversations, folks.
Yeah.
And that's why I got to just show major love to Big Sean. Definitely shout out to Janae, 2088. The real healing components. Like, I'm inspired by all these guys, but the fact of the matter is I am him. I am one of one. That's the goal here. You should find your own confidence to say why you're the best. But you being the best should not necessarily have to come at the cost of you having to put others down to do so. But again, if it's competitive, if we talking about hip hop, of course, like, go ahead. Like, we compete. I'm obviously, if I'm a dunk on you, you got to be below me.
Yeah.
If I'm a dunk on you. But how far do we take it?
Yeah.
And that's where, again, I got to be real about my energy nowadays. It's hard for me to fake stuff. And we've navigated that in our relationship because I want to show you all versions of me. And I love that hopeless romantic that still believed in love even when I'm going through drama, whether I'm not putting respect on myself or, you know what I'm saying, situations I'm in. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But the homies used to call me, hey, serial monogamous guy. Oh, you always in a relationship. Oh, da da. Maybe that goes back to, again, the dynamics of divorce.
Yeah.
Turning, divorce into development. Turning divorce into divorce. To really let me know, wake me up, give me a whole another almighty insight. Because with that dynamic that I experienced with my parents, it's not that I had to grow up too quick, but I was put on game to things. I was moving very independently at 14 years old. My mom being a flight attendant, it was a very dynamic thing. And this is around the same time that I'm listening to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Drake, Cole, Dot, Sean, you know what I'm saying? Wale, Logic, like, you know what I'm saying? These guys are big soundtracks to my life.
Yeah.
And, they're kind of having their, come up around that time. And again, shout out to all artists. I listen to all artists, for sure. But I like, these individuals we're talking about because of how dynamic they are.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just in one world. And I'm an infinite soul, so I like to exist in multiple worlds. It's not just the streets. It's not just corporate. It's multifaceted. So I think that's where this gets very interesting, folks. And we also have to keep in mind what we're dealing with in media and how media can be a distraction and us
Sensationalizing things.
exactly
Yeah.
and just
Blowing us away.
educating ourselves accordingly on what's going to have us not only live our best lives but do what we can to make an impact on this world so those coming after us can also live their best life.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, the ones coming after us, I mean, the Diddy and the Drake and the Cole and the Kendrick and the Big Sean, all these dynamics. Every person I just named, they have children. We saw it live, Diddy's sons in handcuffs.
Real deal.
He wasn't there. Whatever might transpire from this big three dynamic, the last time that Drake beefed with someone, his son was exposed to the world. So these are before he was ready to, I guess you could say. So these are all things that we have to keep in mind when we're starting beef with ourselves, starting beef with other people, and before we start praising beef too much. And yes, creativity, we honor it, we appreciate it, it's helpful for us to channel, but we got to balance that, like light with the darkness. And I thought it was really interesting how Kendrick said, he said, I choose violence, so I don't want no more sneak dissing, we're going to keep it direct. And I would, when you listen to first person shooter, you don't really hear them make any direct, like, shady shots at Kendrick. They're just acknowledging that they're the big three, they're the ones on top. So it did kind of seem like it was coming out of nowhere in certain regards, but also you could say, it's a long time coming. Of course he's going to do how he wants to do it.
It's Kendrick. It's Kendrick. Like, respectfully, again, we know Kendrick, we know the sport of it. But again, it's lit right now. Like, this is a very popular time. But yeah, I'm just at that point in my career where I've been diligently working, so I'm very well aware that, again, the quote-unquote statement, your idols become your rivals. So it's like, for a minute now, I respect these guys, but I haven't listened to other artists like I did when I was first being inspired. Like, it's been a good 5-7 years.
Yeah.
Like, maybe when I was, like, graduating college. Around that time, I was still listening to other artists pretty heavily, but pretty much once I dropped my first song, again, our first song technically, since you blessed me with your vocals on it with Valentine's Days.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in that mentality where it's just like I got to be ready for anything and everything on the competitive aspect, but more so than that, and also why I've taken this certain route. Could I have tried to pursue something with a label? Sure. No excuses. I just been diligent on the journey, and being 20 years old and having certain core experiences, knowing at that time going to, again, the #1 business school in the world, Wharton School of Business at an Ivy League, University of Pennsylvania, when I was very close to coming down here to Morehouse. Again, the journey's been what the journey's been. That's a whole another story. That's a whole another day, or we could dive deep there. But I came on campus saying I want to study the music business. So knowing Philly, knowing that Philly statistically is the city with the largest black community experiencing poverty,
That's powerful.
and just knowing just the connection to the Muslim community in Philly too. It's a lot of Amirs in Philly. Auntie in the building. A diligent journey again, and even with Mom Boss being a mom in this industry, navigating this industry with our very, very talented younger cousin.
Big shout out. Big shout out to Trey. Big shout out to Tommy.
Absolutely,
He's
absolutely.
a dynamic performer.
Tremendously talented. Again, we talk about Alvin Ailey, JFK, and then some.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? John F. Kennedy Center and then some. So, or is that the Robert F. Kennedy Center?
You would know.
It's the Robert F. Kennedy Center. Shout out to DC. Shout out to DC. I'm pretty sure. Nonetheless, him just starting his high school journey and how we navigate things, because he's been very talented and been in the spotlight for at least 4 years now.
Yeah.
So knowing my journey, knowing how I've been diligent, I've had parents that have cared. Again, much love, gratitude, and healing to those navigating entertainment without a guardian in their life.
Yeah, I want to shout out because Mom Boss put his Instagram. So if you want to follow his journey as a dancer, it's Tommy TOMMY
Tap in.
_ the dancer.
Tommy the dancer.
Yes.
Trigger Trey, what's good, money? Yes, sir. Shout out to Tommy. Tommy, man. Tommy, he a beast. He a beast.
Yeah.
He a beast. Trust and believe. Again, that's Tommy _ the dancer. Trust and believe. Truly talented. I'm talking. All these young ladies are amazing, but they trying to keep up with him.
Yeah.
Technically, again, it's a beautiful thing to see young brothers dancing and knowing that, again, maybe just maybe I was a little bit of an inspiration because of my experience in dancing hip hop.
Yeah, you
dancing,
can
experiencing
dance,
contemporary. Again, I grew up with the freestyle dancing. Definitely honored by, inspired by Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, Usher, etc. But and definitely shout out to all the dance community on YouTube too.
Yeah.
And in the DMV, again, a lot of dance inspiration for sure. I used to be going crazy at the dance battles at the school dances.
Shout out to Dim Raider Boys.
Oh yeah.
Eleanor Roosevelt High School. Big shout out to Strictly Funk
Big shout out.
at Penn.
Oh yeah, my
Big shout
journey.
out to the Klein Oak Strutters.
Shout out to the
Klein Oak High
Strutters.
School.
Shout out to you again. Y'all state champions too.
Yes, twice while I was there.
2 times.
And we always made it to nationals, but twice we became state champions. We got the jackets
Hey.
and the rings to prove it. Okay.
That championship energy is what we talking about.
Yeah.
We talking about the dynamics of all of this.
Yep, and channeling accordingly. And remember to balance out that light and darkness. And remember, guys, nobody wins when the family feuds. So we appreciate y'all. Keep it locked. You're Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
I never got on. I just got all white.
God.
Yeah.
101 TKO Radio.
Facts. We were gonna play first person shooter and like that back to back, but we'll let y'all do that.
Yeah. Remember, nobody wins in the family feud.
Hey. But then again, still does sharpen still.
Yeah.
So the way I see it, by all means, let's have fun, y'all. But when it comes down to understanding our journey as Black America and all the things that we're facing, and as some of these people, Mom Boss back in the building, appreciate you, Queen.
Hey, Auntie.
When it comes down to some of these people that are the leaders of our culture, and this is where it connects to the dynamics of Diddy, and all of this connects to what's going on in the stars right now with our Stargazer zone. Of course it is. 444. I apologize. I do. Respect the 444, the album, you know what I'm saying? The whole joint. Fact of the matter is, when we come together, our power is on a whole different level. And we talk about Prince, we talk about Michael Jackson, we talk about Martin, we talk about Malcolm. These are leaders that clearly have had journeys that ended in a way that has caused trauma and pain for many. The way those journeys ended, they've taught us a lot of lessons. There's been a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue, a lot of research. So, knowing what we know now, after we get that bag, and that's why I do respect Drake and Cole for how they got that bag together. And I'm sure everybody's about to eat from this whole back and forth with all camps. You know what I'm saying? Metro, Future. You can shout out to Atlanta. Ain't no doubt, like Future, Hendrix, Pluto, been having it on lock, like, you know what I'm saying, for a minute. But this is the fine line with entertainment, because I remember, again, the Nicki Minaj, we were just talking about Nicki with Queen Naya in the building.
Hey, shout out to Naya.
And the fact of the matter is, Nicki was speaking about, yeah, yo, Future, you know what I'm saying, he rap how he rap, but he don't be doing all those drugs.
Yeah.
It's hip-hop, it's entertainment, right? You know? But it's a fine line, because you got young boys like Juice WRLD that say, yo, I started, trying these drugs because Future was talking about it in his music. And so it's that very sensitive territory. You do what you do, but do it responsibly. I'm not going to act like I've never, experimented, with some substances in the scene, but I've had boundaries. You know what I'm saying? I don't really do the hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, smoke a little bit, drink a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some nights more than a little bit. But overall, that responsibility, what we put into this music and this vibration, and ultimately, nobody wins when the family feuds. So coming together to realize that there are other forces on this planet exploiting us, benefiting from our conflict, benefiting from our pain, and we just can't have it. We can't have it if it's avoidable. Just unnecessary trauma, be gone. So that's where we're at that point where we gotta have this honest conversation. We're honored to have this platform here in the greater Atlanta region. Again, shout out to the whole A, shout out to Stonecrest.
Yep. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in live right now.
Absolutely.
YouTube,
We appreciate y'all.
Instagram, the 101 TKO Radio app, which you really should download if you don't already have it, or the 101 TKO Radio website. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. We honor y'all for being in this conversation with us.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, so again, there's a lot more we could say, but I definitely want to open the floor for you to share some love and light and do it the best way we know how.
Yeah.
With our noble action succeeding always.
Yeah, big massa. We're entering the Stargazer zone now, y'all. Shout out to all that.
Stargazer zone.
Stargazers. Okay, we'll come back to this. There's something there. I like it.
Word.
Shout out to all the energy in the air. I definitely feel strongly that Metro and Future making this decision to drop this album, having the surprise Kendrick verse, is no surprise. It is totally aligned with what's going on an astrological level we are being called to honor our shadow sides. We have to look at our shadow directly in the face, y'all. We cannot be afraid of that shadow. A piece of content that I recently saw, Sony Pictures put out in honor of, like, you know, Spider-Man and their fundraiser, this content on YouTube called The Spider Within. Great graphic example of what
That
I'm
was
talking
dope.
about. You have to confront that spider, that energy, that darkness that we all have because we're all human. And so, if you didn't know, we are in the middle of eclipse season. Anytime that there is a solar eclipse, it is coupled with a lunar eclipse and vice versa. So we just had a partial lunar eclipse for the most recent full moon that was in Libra that just happened this past weekend. And that was a time, now we are still kind of in that full moon energy, right? But this time is about us coming into alignment, coming into full focus, coming into our full bright energy and honoring the shadow that comes with the lighter and brighter that you are, the greater potential for shadow to come and try and attack you. So you have to be aware of that balance within. And I want to also just honor that today is the last day of Lent. So if you have been honoring Lent since February, big shout out to you. And all my people in the building that are fasting right now, including Daze and I, big shout out to you. We are approaching the Night of Power, which is April 5th. And, of course, Good Friday is tomorrow, and Easter is on this upcoming Sunday.
Wow.
So there is so much going on a spiritual level. So it's no surprise that if you're feeling spiritually attacked, if you feel like there is intensity in the brain, intensity in your energy, it is for a reason. Do not be afraid of it. Remember to confront it head on, openly, and remind yourself how important it is to find the balance. So don't get stuck in the dark, in the shadow work, and don't get stuck in the light work. It's the balance of both. And I know, y'all, easier said than done. But I really encourage you to look up some different pieces of content that give you peace. Really encourage you to listen to any frequency music that speaks to you. Also, like I said, looking up that the Spider Within piece of content as a visual representation of what we're talking about. And, you know, hit us up. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, the NASA family. And my name is Mickey LaDawn, so Mickey So LaDawn, and Amir Daze, AmirDaze. If you guys got any questions, if you guys are looking for any suggestions of how you can go deeper in your spiritual warfare, just want to say what's up, hit us up. We appreciate y'all. We see y'all. And make sure you keep it locked here on 101 TKO Radio. Savage Talk with Keepa is coming up after us. So that's all I got to say. I'm sending y'all love. I'm going to let Daze do our send-off.
All of that. Much gratitude, much gratitude. It's a blessing to be here every single time.
Yes.
Giving you these vibrations on a black-owned radio station.
In a
Lord.
black-owned building.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Women's History Month. Still in effect. Celebrating women every day of the year.
Yes.
All people across the planet. We love you. We appreciate you. May you continue to identify your best version and elevate to that. May you continue to rise and shine above all false evidence appearing real as we build bridges, Bayana bridges of the clear evidence. Bayana is my last name, by the way, and Bayana means the clear evidence. May we continue to moonwalk with Dawn Daze through light, through darkness. Dawn Daze is beyond just Mickey LaDawn and Amir Daze. Michaela Padgett and Amir Bayana. It's a new dawn. And sometimes we get lost in the days. But we got to enter that days. We got to master the days. Master it. Master it. Master it. Master the chaos. Be at the eye of the storm.
Yes.
So yes, big NASA family vibes. May our noble actions succeed always in all that we do. And this goes out to you. You listening right now, and even if you are not listening live, if you can capture these vibrations, if someone that you love may be listening live, just know that we appreciate you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, and we just want everyone to tap in with their inner creatives, because we are the real stars.
Yes.
We are the real celebrities.
Yes.
We are the stars of our own movies in our own universe. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something to offer to this planet. Everybody has that quality within them that can give them main character energy.
Snaps to that.
Question is, do you tap into it?
Yeah.
That's a whole another story. Because there's a lot of folks. I'm not gonna lie, y'all not tapping into it. Y'all are very lukewarm. You're not giving what it needs to give. We need to do better. We need to tap in
With love.
Exactly. Do not fear. Create. Talk your talk. Believe in yourself. Everybody got to start somewhere. But on your rise, be mindful of how you treat people on the way up.
Yeah.
Because again, if you happen to fall, and we all respectfully have to confront what it means to humble ourselves, we all will have a decline in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. That's just the human experience.
But how do you ride that wave? Do you ski down the slope? Do you ski down the mountain with finesse on some James Bond type time, or are you hitting trees?
A rolling snowball.
Yeah, about to get your head knocked off. Be mindful. Be mindful. So we appreciate y'all. Mm-hmm. It's an honor every single time we can drive here to Privy Stonecrest, record with the 101 TKO fam.
Have Miss Nia and Nicole in the building with us. Big shout out.
Salute. And just, again, each one teach one. We tapping in with all levels, y'all. From the janitor to the CEO. Understand what it means to be an artistpreneur. If you aren't willing to go market yourself, if you're not willing to believe in yourself, if you're not willing to take that rise to the top and, do what it needs to do to climb to the top of that mountain by yourself if you need to, you can't expect anybody else to drag you along. You can't expect anybody else to do it for you or to carry you to the top of that mountain. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're here. Making sure that we moonwalking with Dawn Daze all the while. Appreciate y'all. 101 TKO Radio. Peace.
Peace.
To some people,